let's get to it. The Cowboys and Packers was, I was going to say fascinating. It wasn't fascinating. It was a shit kicking from day one. And I talked to our buddy Lever over in Italy last week. He was on the podcast, and he was pretty honest about that he liked the Cowboys. Obviously, he's a Cowboys fan. He said, I like what they have. I think they could be fine. Because out of all the matchups that we could have seen here, the Packers was the team that he least wanted to see. And we went into that in detail. If people want to check it out, it's up on the Talk Can Audio podcast feed, or you can visit talkcanaudio.com and find it there for all the reasons that was. But I don't think even because Cowboys fans, a little like Leafs fans, much like the Cowboys are a little like the Leafs, in that they're kind of neurotic. Even when you should consider yourself the heavy favorite, you have no confidence that you're the favorite. And he turned out to be completely correct, to be worried about the Green Bay Packers, who rolled the Cowboys, no problem. I don't know what your prediction was going into that game, who you saw winning it, but I'm quite sure there's no way you would say you saw that coming, that lambasting coming.
No, I didn't see them dropping, the Packers dropping 48 points, almost 50, like a 50 spot on the Cowboys. And like I said, the way that things were working out, the Eagles kind of choked away the NFC East there and gave it to the Cowboys. I was expecting the Bucs versus Cowboys in week one, super wild card weekend.
Right.
Sorry, can't say it without saying super. But they kind of just, the Cowboys were a team too. They were one of the better teams in a little while. The Packers too down the stretch. The reason I thought the Cowboys were going to win this game is I thought, Dak has been they've been so good at home, undefeated at home. Like that was their first home loss.
Yeah.
And it was in the super wild card weekend. Like it's kind of crazy to see something like that happen because there's so much faith there, and Cowboys fans, like you said, they think they're always so much better than they are at some points. And I think that that game kind of surprised me, just seeing Matt LaFleur be able to take a guy like Jordan Love in his first ever playoff game into that environment. Cowboys Nation is probably pretty wild for him to go through, but for him to have the kind of game that he did, which was basically a perfect game, three touchdowns, no interceptions, over 200 yards passing, like 270. Like this guy was awesome, but Aaron Jones ran the ball like 100 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns. Like it just feels like the Cowboys kind of just choked this game away, and they didn't have answers for them. And I think that was something that kind of surprised me a little bit more than I was expecting.
Right.
Just because I thought the Cowboys were a team that was, this was one of their years where I was like, they actually have a real good, like kind of well-rounded team here.
The path was there too, right? Like there was a reasonable path, and they botched it in a pretty substantial way.
And Cowboys Packers are, two teams that are very historic and legendary.
Yep.
So, huge fan bases, lots of passion there. I love seeing upsets. I love underdogs.
Sure.
I don't really care. I'm happy to see the Cowboys lose sometimes. It's funny just to see how upset everybody gets. And, I do believe that Mike McCarthy he seems to be the guy that just can't get it done when it matters. And it's kind of what happened.
Gone, you think?
I think he is, because I think that Bill Belichick is available, and I think that Jerry Jones wants to throw money at somebody. Like he's got, there's so much that can happen.
Was it the Falcons who tweeted out on Monday that they had interviewed Belichick? I don't know that that's a fit necessarily.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I mean, that defense is really good, I think, in Atlanta, and I think they're a young team that's on the upswing. And
maybe this is an NFL thing, because I'm kind of, I don't know, casual or passive about it. Mm-hmm. It is odd that you tweet out, like the team tweets out, we interviewed Bill Belichick, especially like if you think you're not going to make that move, or that he might not be interested in you legitimately, or that you're not actually going to do it. Maybe you tweet that out so your fans go, oh, okay, like we're looking at the biggest possible fish. But it seems odd to just be like, yes, we interviewed that guy. Like that's a weird thing to tweet, isn't it? Yeah,
it is. I mean, we see it a lot. Teams kind of put that out there every kind of interview. Okay. Like it's kind of something that happens, but it is
like the NBA
weird.
Doesn't do that. The NHL doesn't do that. Like
it's weird.
It is weird a little bit. So.
Yeah. It is weird. It happens though a lot. It does happen very often.
One of the things that Lever and I talked about going into that Packers-Cowboys game was that don't let them hang around. And this isn't exactly the way it panned out, but like you're talking about a young quarterback in Jordan Love. You're talking about a young team, and they have nothing to lose. And so the longer this is kind of a knife fight or back and forth, whether it's low scoring or whether you're going blow for blow and it's a higher scoring game, the longer the Packers stay in it, the more the Cowboys start to feel like, oh my God, we're those Cowboys, right? Like, this is about to happen to us too. And the Packers start going, those fucking guys are choke Even though the roster isn't the same, that name, that logo is known for choking in big moments. We can do this. And so I sort of thought the Packers' only path to victory was something like that. Hold it really tight all the way to the fourth quarter and get the last blow. And it didn't turn out to be that at all. From minute one, the Packers were better and just rolled right over them.
Yeah, and like I said, in every way, like I said, passing-wise, Romeo Dubes had over 100 yards and a touchdown. Aaron Jones, over 100 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
You know, with Jordan Love throwing the ball, like it seems like he's really kind of just progressed throughout the year, and he's gotten a lot more comfortable being a full-time starter.
Yeah.
Kind of look, I go back to the Bucs and Baker Mayfield and Dave Canales having a new offensive coordinator and a new quarterback.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes a few weeks, and that's the thing. Like, he's been there in that system for Green Bay for a little while, but maybe it was a slower start than people expected, and the NFC, that NFC division with the Packers was kind of choked by the Vikings to see how that kind of went. But with the NFC North kind of being the way it was, the Packers still finished second.
Yep.
And, now they get this big win. But, you kind of look at how that all went, and it's like, all right, I'm not sure I'm kind of fully bought into the Packers. The Bucs played them, I think weeks 15 or 16. I can't remember which week exactly. And they kind of went into Green Bay and they beat up on the Packers. So I was like, all right, I don't know how much I believe in this Packers team, but seeing them go into Dallas and win there the way that they did, it kind of just goes to show the confidence that Jordan Love has. He's a very gifted and athletic quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that this is a team, again, defensively, I'm not totally sold on the Packers. They still gave up 32 points. But again, the Cowboys are one of the best offensive teams in the league. So I looked at that as, okay, I'm not really sure what this matchup was, but I still have my side like thinking, well, the Cowboys have a good defense. They have a good offense. They're the more well-rounded team. They should win that game. The fact that they lost that game, like you said, to me is more of a choking thing. And I'm just like, what Mike McCarthy just kind of seems to never, like last year they beat the Bucs in Super Wildcard Weekend, but again, like that was a team that was not healthy, not good. Tom Brady, like they retired Tom Brady. Cool, they could raise that banner all they want, but then they ended up losing the following week. So the Cowboys are a team that I think that with Dak Prescott there, you kind of need to make this move now. You're either going to believe in Mike McCarthy, but he's been for the last few years not looking very much like a guy that can get it done when it matters.
No.
It looked like that with him in Green Bay when it kind of came to an end, and they ended up moving to Matt LaFleur. And now I look at the sense of, well, what are they going to do? Well, Jerry Jones loves a big splash move. He's got the money. He's got whatever he wants. If he wants Bill Belichick, he's bringing Bill Belichick in if he wants to go there.